of Doc Rivers find his leadership somewhere else in the backcourt? The Knicks become one of the several possible Eastern representatives in the finals. And suddenly, Phil Jackson and the Bulls are very much back in the picture. John Andres now from Chicago, getting set to be joined by the Bulls coach.
Thank you, Mike. Phil Jackson is a former player, now a coach. You can appreciate how important an athlete's career is to him and his team. The Doc Rivers news, what did you think of that?
Well, we're all disappointed. We lost a great player in the NBA, perhaps, for the season. And, Doc's age, I'm sure it's career-threatening. And, we wish him well back in New York. He's a good guy, and everybody likes him in this league. And he's been a great competitor against us. And it's been a lot of fun watching him play over the years.
Phil, your Bulls team is going through an interesting crisis of its own, but lately rather well. Life without Michael Jordan. Is Phil Jackson a better coach this year?
I doubt it. But, a lot of times when you're pressed to, find the talent level on your ball club, sometimes it surfaces in different ways. When we went west and people asked me that question, John, I would say, well, I like to know what it's like without Michael. It's without Scottie and without Scott Williams and without Paxson and without Pippen right now that I'm worried about. It's not life without Michael. But we got Scottie Pippen back in a game against Phoenix, and it couldn't have happened soon enough for us. No, December 1st. And, we started playing ever since then. We won 7 out of 8, and we feel good about our team.
Phil, are you surprised in any way, at the talent level of your team, of what they have shown this season? You know them as well as anybody, but yet until it happens, you really don't know. Are there any surprises with this turnaround by your team?
I think, we talked off camera a little bit about B.J. Armstrong stepping into a scoring vacuum and taking up a little bit of that scoring thrust. Horace Grant putting 2 or 3 points onto his average. Scottie Pippen still having that directed game. Maybe not averaging any more points, but a little better leadership role out on the floor. Bill Cartwright's played well for us, but we haven't had him consistently on the floor, and he won't be because he's at that age where he won't be able to play night in and night out. But Bill Wennington has come and surfaced for us as a very good ball player. Loves to play the game, can hit the shots, understands our offensive system. And then we've gotten a plug off the bench from Tony Kukoc and Steve Kerr. Those 2 kids really have come and played and helped us a lot.
Phil, you've low-keyed Tony Kukoc, I guess intentionally, because so much attention was paid to this young man before he came to the United States. What is with his development? Now, with Pippen back in the starting lineup, Tony is back on the bench. Would you rather have it that way?
I certainly would, but there's a point in the season when I can foresee him moving into the starting lineup. I want him to go around the league one time, see everybody, maybe the conference opponents twice, and then start to flesh out what he can do on the court. Right now, he's not quite comfortable exactly what our system is and demands of him. He's still putting his habits, his game, and his influence on the team, whereas we're not quite ready for that yet. But when he corrals his game and he comes in and he does the things that we like, you can certainly see a star in developing there. He's just got great passing skills, can shoot the three-pointer, he's good in the post, and defensively he's starting to make it. He's starting to find his way.
Phil, our closing question, back to Phil Jackson now, coaching this team without a superstar, as you have been doing. How different is it for you? Are you having to adjust in a big way without Michael Jordan?
Well, I think the team's a little more receptive. Before, it kind of looked to Michael like, for the direction or for, the intensity level they're going to play at. Now, the tone comes different way down the pecking orders. Pippen, B.J. and Horace, who have been here, Paxson, who's still an influence, even though he's been on the injured list. And then there's more influence from the coach because there are more new players. There are 5 new players. They're willing to accept some things. So I think there is a little more influence from that direction. But the thing that's happened to our team is that they've tried harder to be a team. And sometimes when you have a Michael Jordan, you can just kick the ball over and say, let us go, and you just take the game over, do whatever you do so great in this game, and he would do that. And the other ball players could step out and relax in their role. Now they're all in it, and they all know they're in it, and they've got to have a great effort every single night. So I think that's promoted dedication and a little bit of concentration, perhaps.
Okay, Phil Jackson, thank you very much for your thoughts, and the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Now let's go back to Mike Crispino.
Imagine that, an NBA team receptive to its coach, Phil Jackson and John Andres. Ahead, Peter Vesey with some interesting nuggets, and Shaq's latest attack costs him some dollars and some points. Stay with us.
The Rangers are back at the Garden to take on the Ottawa Senators after Sports Desk and Game Night, Sunday at 7 here on MX.
One-game suspension for this. On Tuesday night in Seattle, the Magic visiting the Sonics, driving to the hoop, Shawn Kemp. And a little body contact, not much. Kemp ends up landing in the front row, hit a cameraman, suffered a cut. O'Neal was ejected from the game and fined an automatic $250 for that particular play. So he's 3 points away from a possible one-game suspension. Remember the Atlanta Hawks, that soft bunch of underachievers who for years opened the gates when opposing players drove the lane? Well, no more. They had won 14 straight to establish themselves as the early season favorites as the comeback team of the year. At least that was until the Indiana Pacers arrived in town. Pacers finally tamed them last night. Lenny Wilkens' team had not lost at home in the Omni. Hawks fans hadn't woken up to that fact yet, however. They are not coming out to support the team as of yet, except, look at this, Ted Turner finally shows up. There's no Braves game in town. That's what it is. Dominique had 23. They had a 7-point lead at one point in the first half, but Larry Brown's team came back. Haywood Workman's doing a nice job in the backcourt for Brown and company. Gave Indiana a 63-61 lead in the third quarter. They were never headed. Dale Davis and Antonio Davis working inside the paint after a slight travel. Dale Davis had 19. 99-81 was the final Indiana over Atlanta. And the one man capable of deciphering the NBA salary cap, Norm Sanju's press conferences, and Donald Sterling's next move is coming up. Peter Vesey, stay where you are.
For years, I never even thought about it.
Welcome back to Knicks Game Night. The build-ups for this man, Peter Vesey, are better here than anywhere else, and he always delivers. The promo department apparently slipped something into the script here.
A little obscure, Mike.
Obscure, yeah. Does this mean that the Knicks season is over? I mean, their chance to win a championship, is it over?
I think if they played in the West, you would have to see that the Knicks would do something immediately, because there's no way they're going to come up with a home court advantage playing in the West with this club. But since they're playing in the East, I think they've got some time to kill, and that's what they're going to do. I think initially they're going to go for a backup, probably bring in a CBA guy, though John Bagley's been contacted. They've been thinking about other guys in the league. But I think they're going to go for a backup, let Greg Anthony feel his way for a while. Like I said, they've got some time.
So it's not necessarily wait till next year. And along the CBA watch for a moment, David Kane's name has been mentioned. The Knicks did like him in the camp. What about his status?
I think they're looking for somebody experienced, somebody who's been around a little bit. Kane has no professional experience at all. I think they're looking for somebody like him, though, a ball handler, somebody who can break the press. The Knicks have had a lot of problems with the press. They're good at giving it out, but they're not good at taking it.
One of the hottest tickets in town on Monday night, for giving away, that is, when the Dallas Mavericks are here. Derek Harper arrives. Will he bring his whole family, do some house hunting, you think?
Well, they've been talking about Derek Harper since before the season, and talks even got more intense last week, even before this happened to Doc Rivers. So what I think is going to happen, though, is Derek is not going to be traded for at this time, though they promised him he will be traded before Christmas. They promised his agent, George Andrews. I think what you're going to have to give to get him is a middle-round first pick and somebody like a Davis, Hubert Davis. I think that's the only way you're going to get him.
It's going to have to be somebody who's making a lot of money, I would think, because he also pulls down quite a solid salary.
That's right. Well, you could throw in the #1 pick would be the Houston's pick that they have for McCormick. In '94. The problem with that is it looks like it might be the 27th pick of the draft, and the Mavericks will already have the 28th because they'll be drafting #1 in the second round. Personally, I think you got to do what it takes to get Harper. He's a guy, there are only a few point guards that can win it for you this year, and he's the only one that happens to be available. I think you've got to do what it takes. Ironically, he was born on the exact same day, same year as Doc Rivers.
See, I told you he delivers. All right, let's talk about the other suspects and get them out of the way. Isaiah Thomas?
I've seen that written a number of times. There is no way Isaiah Thomas will ever play for Pat Riley. Isaiah told me last year that Pat Riley was the one, along with Mike Dunleavy, who accused him of saying that Magic Johnson was bisexual. Isaiah Thomas went to Dunleavy and confronted him on it, and Dunleavy said, yeah, I did tell Magic, because that's what I heard. I said, well, did you go to Pat Riley and confront him? He said, no, I'll never do that. There is no way Isaiah's playing in New York.
And one of our favorite players, Vern Fleming, is still around, can still play the game. He can shoot the jump shot. He plays some defense and can handle, and he's still in Indiana. Is Larry Brown unhappy with him?
Well, he's on the injured list right now. As you said, Hayward Workman's doing a great job filling in. They gave him a 2-year guarantee when they signed him as an unrestricted free agent. Pooh Richardson, Indiana, would love to get rid of. Fleming, they don't really want to get rid of him, but they would give him up for nothing just to get his salary off the cap. The Knicks can't work it out unless they do a 3-for-2 deal. Indiana would give him up for maybe a second-round pick if they could.
Now to the Coaches on the Plank segment, always a favorite on the program. Quinn Buckner in Dallas has been under fire already, not only his own team, but I understand he's trying to mend fences.
That's right. The last 2 weeks, they let him know that if he didn't change his attitude toward the players, if he didn't get a better working relationship, I've been calling him the great excommunicator, that he was going to be gone. So the last 2 weeks, he's been very receptive to suggestions instead of trying to bully and intimidate the players as he was doing. But the players I talked to yesterday said that it's not getting over. In fact, Sean Rook's agent told me that they've already demanded for him to be traded. Buckner then turned around. He's going to start him tomorrow. So he's caving under pressure now.
And George Andrews, who represents Derek Harper and represented Rolando Blackman at one point, called him a night Mooney.
Well, I think that could be
fairly accurate.
I think that's a good description of the attitude that he came in with. He came in and he wanted to be a control freak like Knight, but Knight has only won a few championships, and Quinn Buckner, of course, never lost one in the studio for NBC, but not doing too well.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Wes Unseld in Washington, he lost 9 in a row now. How long can he hang on before management has to do something?
A lot of people think he's grandfathered into that job. He's the he's the longest active coach in the league. I think it's 7 or 8 years. I think he is in trouble. This is the last year on his contract. I know earlier in this year, Mike, they were talking to other coaches that are out of basketball in case they started off poorly. As it turned out, they started off pretty well. Now they've got 9 losses in a row. I think the team is much better than the record shows.
And we're going to leave people with a little bit of a teaser. We can't get into it now because time has run out on us, but Daly and Reed in New Jersey.
I think it could be over for Chuck after this year. He has an out after this year. He still would get paid if he left after this year.
All right, Peter Vesey, thanks for joining us. That's Knicks Game Night. We are set now for the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks here on the MSG Network. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Enjoy the game.
New York Knicks Game Night has been brought to you by the New York Times. To keep up with the sports in New York, keep up with the Times. By Payne Weber. We believe our most important investment is an investment in relationships. And by your Tri-State BMW dealers. You can handle it.
For moments when there's no time to waste, Cellular One and Nobody Beats the Whiz put you in touch automatically in over 300 cities across North America.
Hello. Boomer!
It's 3rd and 17, Joe. I need some help.
Where's the ball? 76 big X corner.
Cellular One and Nobody Beats the Whiz. Cellular service.
Hello.
You need to use a pitching wedge
That's simply the best.
Today I got a letter from a retired colonel from Kentucky. Snapple is a super...
than me, but if you're both right-handed, what happens is the player will grab Kosar's right hand because that's all he throws with. Then he can't throw as many. When you're left-handed like McCarty is, he throws left-handed. That means Kosar's right arm's free, and if it's free, watch out, baby.
Kosar and McCarty go off. 10:46 to go in the first period.
As close to it as I could. It's going to be tough, but I'm very happy with my decision, and I'm very glad that I'm in a position to make that choice.
While Jordan has eased into life after basketball, the burden of carrying on the winning tradition in Chicago has been placed on the shoulders of Scottie Pippen, B.J. Armstrong, and Horace Grant. In addition, newcomer Tony Kukoc has been imported from Europe. This is the final season. The Bulls will call Chicago Stadium their home, and tonight they will receive another visit from the New York Knicks. welcome to the Madhouse on Madison Street, Chicago Stadium, Chicago, Illinois, for the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls meeting for the first time this season. The Bulls playing well as of late, 3 straight wins. They've taken 7 of the last 8. They're 11 up, 8 down, second in the Central, only 3.5 behind Atlanta, while the Knicks are on top in the Atlantic Division. They are 15-5. They have won 5 straight and 8 of their last 10. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with John Andres, and as we discussed in great detail on Knicks game night, Doc Rivers' season has ended by virtue of that knee injury suffered in the game last night against the Los Angeles Lakers. He will undergo surgery shortly. A very important loss to the Knicks because Doc, these past 2 years, has been a significant player.
Yes, Marv, the excitement of Patrick Ewing becoming the Knicks' all-time leading scorer was diminished by this very sad occasion last night. In the third quarter, when Doc Rivers drove around Nick Van Exel of the Lakers and was contacted in a foul situation by Vlade Divac, got Doc off balance, drove him to the floor, and Doc Rivers needed a lot of help leaving the floor last night, and the rest, as you can see now, tells the story for Doc Rivers' season.
And tonight, Pat Riley inserting Greg Anthony into the starting lineup. Greg has been battling the flu these days. He did make his return last night against the Lakers, and he is now in the starting lineup.
Well, Marv, Greg, as we know, has not been having a good season, and the Knicks are hoping that he can revert back to form last year when he was the Knicks starter. With the Knicks at that point were 27-8 with Greg in the starting lineup, and it is hoped that Greg can get back to that form quickly. There's great pressure on him now to get back there real fast. I don't think Pat Riley's going to expect 48 minutes out of Greg. Certainly, he'll give him smaller doses, but he's very important to the Knicks, particularly against this very surprisingly tough Bulls team.
Yes, the Bulls have been playing well as of late. We mentioned the record, 3 straight wins, 7 of the last 8. And with Michael Jordan retired, several other players have elevated their game, in particular B.J. Armstrong, who has averaged just under 19 points per game.
Yes, he's basically leading this team in scoring as Pippen came back rather late. He's got big numbers, but B.J.'s been the man. Very deceptive player going to the basket. He's got the all-around guard skills, and anybody who saw the Bulls play in the last 4 years knows how he can shoot the 3-point shot. He's currently 6th in the NBA with tremendous outside shooting percentage. And when you look at his career numbers at 9 points a game and averaging only 7.5 shots a game, when that's doubled this year, so his stats have doubled. He's now, as you mentioned, Mark, close to 19 a game with the doubling of the field goal attempts for his career. So he's really come through with the confidence that Phil Jackson has shown in him. He's a rising star in this league, and he will be a great challenge tonight for Greg Anthony defensively. That's what Greg does best. But tonight he'll have a real challenge.
All right, it's one of the NBA's best rivalries, the Knicks and the Chicago Bulls. When we come back, a look at the starting lineups.
The weak side is where the puck went, and all of a sudden it's in. The Rangers lead, or pardon me, tied up at 2. Coffey's caught up high, as you see at the blue line. Now Zubov can make the play he wants. He does. There's the pass that didn't get through until the last second. Now, do you see Graves there beside the goaltender put his arms up to back up? Let's watch to the left side. Watch the goaltender follow the play at Shovel Day. Now you'll see Graves come in. He backs in, and there's contact as he's pushed in. Now he'll back out, get right out of there as the puck is knocked in on the opposite side. Shovel Day tried to appeal to no avail, and we're tied at 2.
Brian Leach, second goal of the game, both on the power play from Messier and Zubov at 11:41. We're all even. 9:15 to go in the first, and this has been something already. Brian Leach now has 36 points, 28 on the power play. Healy couldn't control the puck, but gets help from Hudson.
See where the puck came in off the boards. We talked about it earlier. It's dangerous. The puck will go into the corner off the boards and back out front.
One thing that Mike Keenan has said repeatedly about Glenn Healy when asked about using Mike Richter game.
At forward from Virginia Union, 6'9", Charles Oakley. A 6'7" forward from Ohio State, Tony Campbell. At center, 7 foot from Georgetown, Patrick Ewing. And one guard from Oklahoma State, 6'5", John Starks. 6'2" from UNLV, Greg Anthony. The New York Knicks are coached by Pat Riley, assisted by Dick Harder, Jeff Van Gundy. The trainer, Mike Saunders.
Always a stirring rundown of the introduction of the players here in Chicago, even with the absence of Michael Jordan. Not quite what it was during the days of Jordan, but it certainly helps that this Chicago franchise has played well after a shaky start, and Scottie Pippen back into the lineup. And they've done a nice job recently.
As you look around the league, Marv, you do get the feeling that the Chicago Stadium has set the standard in many ways for game introductions of teams, and they're emulated around the league as you see other arenas.
That is assistant coach Jeff Van Gundy in a conversation with Greg Anthony, who is in the starting lineup in the absence of the injured Doc Rivers.
Well, I think all of the Knicks fans who know that pickle that the Knicks are in with Doc Rivers' situation are rooting for Greg Anthony, as his teammates are, and now it's up to him, only him.
Yes, it's been a rocky season for Greg, who has not shot well. He has also committed more miscues than he had in the past, and it's a solid opportunity, and perhaps good for Greg that it is starting on the road, away from the home fans, where he has been receiving at best mixed reaction.
Greg can make several contributions, Marv, but as we said at the outset, I think the key thing is defense, which is what made him so attractive to the Knicks when they drafted him. And I would assume he'll be matched up with BJ, the man he's shaking hands with now.
The officials are Mike Mathis, Blaine Reichelt, Woody Mayfield. As we speculated on the pregame show on Knicks game night, it remains to be seen what move the Knicks will make. Dave Checketts, Ernie Grunfeld, Pat Riley, you know, are working on that aspect. I believe for the short term, they will go with a stopgap situation, perhaps someone who is in the CBA. But it remains to be seen if they will try and make a deal for a major player, someone like Derek Harper, currently with the Dallas Mavericks. All right, Starks off a double team, able to recover. Here is Ewing. Campbell on the tip. And B.J. Armstrong gets it down. Horace Grant coming off a career-high 31-point game against the Celtics on Wednesday. Cartwright. Bill Cartwright with a very friendly rim.
Charles Oakley, for some reason, felt he could block that shot and left his ground, took himself out of the play.
And the foul on Starks. Check that. Oakley, offensive foul. Charles Oakley, who was acquired from the Chicago Bulls in the deal for Bill Cartwright, coming off a very solid game last night against the Lakers, season high of 21 points. Grant Anthony got a piece of it. The Knicks doubling up. Shot clock at 5. Here's Myers. Pete Myers going glass. Pete Myers, a one-time New York Knick. You may recall he played very well for a stretch under Rick Pitino when the Knicks were a pressing ball club. He is an excellent defensive player.
And that was in the 89-90 season, and what a shock it was when he was in the starting lineup for this team this year, filling rather the shoes of that role that Michael Jordan left behind.
Illegal defense call for the first time. Pete Myers was originally drafted by Chicago in the 6th round back in 1986. And he was the guy usually, as Campbell comes up short, who in practice would go against Michael Jordan. Pippen had it knocked away. Anthony pops it down. Starks, nice play, feeding Campbell. So the Bulls with a 4-2 lead. Remember Jordan saying that, of course, he was trying to build the confidence of a then very young Pete Myers, that Myers was the toughest player that he would face because he gave him trouble in practice, and Myers missed the stuff. Myers did garner a reputation off his practice scrimmages against Michael Jordan.
And as I recall, Marv, he got a reputation in New York for the practice scrimmages, which got him ejected from the team. He ruffled a few feathers in New York.
Myers able to hit for a 6-2 Chicago lead. Myers has also improved offensively. Patrick Ewing gets inside of the Bulls with a 6-4 lead. Last night, Patrick Ewing surpassing Walt Clyde Frazier as the Knicks' #1 all-time leading scorer. Starks knocked it away, recovered by Myers, and a foul is called. It's called on Starks.
Starks does not have to fear Myers as a scorer. But what he's got to try and do is keep his penetration down so Myers doesn't set up his teammates. So that means he's got to stay in front of him. And Myers at 6'6" moves very well. Major clear out of situation.
Myers lost it. Anthony with the open shot. Armstrong. The Bulls 8. The Knicks 4. The Knicks last night knocked off the Lakers in methodical fashion, 108-85. To make it 8 out of 10. At home, they are 7 up, 2 down on the road. Pippen. And he'll go to the line. Scottie Pippen was hacked, got that good jump off the first step. And Ewing was called for the foul.
You know, Marv, this arena has always reminded me, and I'm sure it does many of the players, of a college atmosphere, because it's so close here. The seating is kind of vertical like the Boston Garden, which to me expresses a tremendous home court advantage psychologically. It's very tough to feel comfortable here as a visitor, which means you've got to play at a very high level of proficiency to win, to do well. The Knicks have to come out and present a little stronger opening now than they have in the opening moments. They don't look quite sharp enough yet.
And Knicks fans are well aware of the many problems over the years that the Knicks had here in Chicago. They won their last regular season game, which snapped a 13-game regular season losing streak here in the Windy City. And the foul is called. It's on Myers. Prior to that win last February here in Chicago, the Knicks had not won a regular season game since March 6th, 1987, here at Chicago Stadium. Oakley, yes, Charles Oakley hitting the jump shot all last night against the Lakers. The Bulls 10, the Knicks 6.
You know, Charles would love to have a repeat performance here in the arena he played in and has never really had gigantic games in.
And Pete Myers off to a fast start. Ewing not expecting the pass. It's a 3-on-2. Pippen for Grant. Bulls 14, the Knicks 6. And Pat Riley wants to talk it over.
Again, Probert ran into Tikkanen. Tikkanen. Oh, baby.
Everything going here.
Closer, Probert of all things.
Wow.
And Probert landed one big haymaker.
This is a
They've got four separate fights. Larmer's lined up with somebody. Chason's got somebody.
Leach is trying to pull Shepard away.
Koser and Probert, though, that's the main one here.
These are good friends. You rarely ever see Koser and Probert go at it. And Probert, Koser, the former Red Wing. Probert had quite a fight with Todd Ewing in the last Red Wings game.
Have more players on the ice too, Sam, and 2 of them are not getting involved. Koser and Probert, now they separate. I think they're going to get going some more.
This is just downright ugly. Well, I don't know, John. I don't know that this helps the league at all.
No, it doesn't, Sam, but it doesn't happen often anymore. The whole thing started right off the face-off. Tikkanen reached out with his stick and upended Primo. Down Primo went. Then everybody started to get in and get going at one another. Now, when Primo was tripped up by Tikkanen, the referee was looking over at the 2 benches. I was watching the entire thing. He had his hand up regarding line changes in front of the benches. He was watching the benches. He did not see what happened. Now watch Tikkanen here reach in with his stick. And there's actually Primo went over to buck Tikkanen. Tikkanen tripped him up, and then all of a sudden it starts. Primo comes in, Probert comes in. They go. The referee never saw the thing start. Koser's got to move in because Probert's in. There's 2 big guys on the ice. They got to go. This thing, I don't know. I'm going to go back to the start of this thing. This is a big game, Sam. Here's what my opinion is. It's a big game, 2 tough teams, and you almost expect it to be a feisty game. Now, in my opinion, Lance Roberts is a very inexperienced referee to have.
Starks for 3, way off. Just got a piece of the glass with the shot clock running down. He had to fire it up.
Calling some very strange offensive zone penalties, right or wrong. And to me, things start to heat up, and watch out. Now, I'm not saying it's his fault that the thing went into a brawl, but I'm telling you, if there was a more experienced referee, I don't think this thing would have happened. It's just right or
tough. And that last sequence was an example with the Knicks getting a terrible shot at the end of 24 seconds.
Campbell.
Not this year.
For Tony Campbell. The Bulls 14 and the Knicks 8. And the Bulls are repeatedly going to the double team on Ewing. Grant gets inside, rejected by Ewing. Fast break, Anthony for Starks for Campbell. Beautifully done, and the Knicks now trail by 4.
Yes, a nicely controlled fast break by the Knicks.
Armstrong and Myers in the backcourt. Grant, Cartwright, Pippen up front. A Knicks steal. Starks for 3. Yes. John Starks, hoping to turn it from the 1 for 11 last night, has brought the Knicks within 1.
Quite a difference for the shooter when he doesn't have a hand in his face.
7-0 run by the Knicks. Anthony tried to draw the foul. Cartwright gets inside, and he is fouled.
7 NHL games experience going into this season. Now, it's maybe wrong.
Seems to be affected somewhat. It's hard to see what happened to him. The foul was not on him. As Cartwright crashed in, Ewing had hurt that index finger, the middle finger out of his right hand last night in a defensive situation, and it looked like he might have aggravated it on that play.
Foul was committed by Tony Campbell. So Bill Cartwright, a 72% free throw shooter, so he's up from last season. He struggled at the line last year. The Bulls 15 and the Knicks 13.
Knicks trying to spread their offense around, and as usual, look for Ewing down low. The Bulls are not letting the Knicks penetrate very easily.
Shot clock at 2. Down to 1. Myers with the steal. Armstrong could not handle it. B.J. Armstrong among several Bulls to come over and ask us to wish Doc Rivers well. Doc's such a popular player, so well liked around the NBA, and B.J. and many other Bulls expressing the hope that Doc is able to undergo successful surgery, make it back for next season.
As did Phil Jackson on our Knicks game night.
Campbell off the double pump. Air ball served up by Tony Oakley with the save. It's a 24-second violation. And John, as you mentioned, the Knicks are having difficulty getting their shots off.
Marv, there's an example of a defensive player not buying the fake, and how wise it is not to leave your feet when you're playing defense when a guy fakes. Because what happened was Campbell actually took himself out of the shot with all the intense faking. He had nothing left for the shot.
Pippen played well by Campbell. Anthony delivering to Campbell. Well, Tony Campbell has tied the game at 15, and Campbell has 8 points.
See, now Phil Jackson's team is hurting with Bill Cartwright now, because Bill, even though he was there, is no factor. The pace is a little too quick for Cartwright, and the Knicks are getting good breaks.
Anthony Mason is getting set to come on. And the Knicks on the run again. Starks with Anthony. And he's called for an offensive foul. He was about to give it up, then decided to fake. And as a result, it is a charge. Timeout taken by Chicago. The game tied at 15.
Back by his legs, it means shooter Deke. But he's got it in front of him. You had to read Deke as the goaltender. Healy did just that, and he keeps his team in it. If Kozlov scores here, it's 5-2, and that would have been 4 specialty team goals in the period for Detroit. But instead, Glenn Healy keeps the Rangers alive.
1:55 to go in the period, a minute 14 to go on the power play.
Now, and the Chicago Bulls misses. They're pushing that ball up court. That's Pat Riley basketball. Greg Anthony pushing the ball up, looking left, looking right, making his decisions. Good bounce pass to Tony Campbell. Fumbles the ball, but recovers enough to finish the break nicely. Knicks have another break opportunity, which just took place a moment ago. John Starks is going to assume that Myers is going to buy this look away. Myers just held his ground. That's why he's in the NBA, though, because of his defensive skills.
Well, the Knicks, after the slow start, have picked it up. They've hit 4 of the last 6 over the last 3 minutes, while the Bulls 0 for 4. 9-1 run by the Knicks. And the game is tied at 15. Hubert Davis has come on for John Starks. Anthony Mason now on the floor up front with Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Pippen off the pick. Davis played by Myers. Mason posting up. Rebounded by Grant. Myers. Oh, he wants the ball. He's had the hot hand. Pete Myers with 8 points. The Bulls lead by 2. Ewing facing the double team. Able to go high off glass to tie the game at 17. 4 points for Patrick Ewing.
Always tough to beat 2 defenders in close, even if you are Patrick Ewing.
Armstrong and Myers at the guards. Grant with Pippen and Cartwright on the front line. Phil Jackson staying with his starting lineup, and Grant line drives at home to give the Bulls a 19-17 advantage.
Well, you know, Phil Jackson's got to be delighted that Horace Grant comes into this matchup with his old nemesis who used to beat him up in practice, Charles Oakley, when Oakley was a member of the Bulls. But Grant coming in after his career high the other night of 31.
15 of 22 from the field, along with game high 15 rebounds for Horace Grant. Knicks will have 9 on the 24. Shot clock at 3. Ewing forced it. What Cartwright always does an excellent job of forcing Ewing a little further out than he would like.
Patrick must adjust to those situations and not force such a shot.
The Bulls 19 and the Knicks 17. Off the turnover. Mason moves right back. Now Oakley posting up on Pippen. Mason. Grant pops it down. Armstrong for Myers. Pete Myers has really hurt the Knicks. He's a big guard at 6'6", about 185 pounds. 10 points for Myers. The Bulls 21, Knicks 17. Davis, that's waved off, will not count. The whistle before the shot attempt. Foul on Cartwright. That is his first.
The advantage of the Bulls pushing the ball up court seems to be working well for Myers, who's really an 8-point-a-game scorer. He's hurting the Knicks because he's running so well.
Mason, Anthony Mason, bringing the Knicks within 2. For Mason, his first field goal. 1:20 left in this opening quarter. Tony Kukoc getting set to check in for the first time. Grant with the step. Strong move by Horace Grant.
Well, he made a strong man retreat. That was Charles Oakley backing up on that power move by Horace.
Davis. And last touch by Cartwright. It will be Nick Ball. And here is Kukoc, who has been struggling the last 4 games. Tony Kukoc from Croatia, 3-time European Player of the Year, played on Croatia's silver medal team in the '92 Olympics, and Barcelona, member of 3 European Championship teams over the last 5 years. So Tony Kukoc facing the Knicks. And not for the first time, John. They face the Knicks in the McDonald's Classic several years back. Pete Myers receiving a hand as he headed off. Nice feed from Kukoc. Grant fed it the other way, and it paid off. Pretty ball movement as B.J. Armstrong has given the Bulls a 25-19 lead.
The Knicks are too slow in defensive transition. They're getting beaten down court. What an interesting matchup. 6'11" Kukoc on Hubert Davis.
And Davis able to get it off. The quick release by Hubert Davis. Kukoc not there in time. 20 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Bulls by 4. And Phil Jackson says hold for a final shot. Down to 5. Pippen for Grant. 2 3/10 seconds remaining. And Anthony's pass rejected by Armstrong. After 1, it's the Bulls 27. Back in Chicago after 1, the Bulls 27, Knicks 21. For those of you who may have just tuned in and missed the news earlier, Doc Rivers, who suffered a knee injury last night, is through for the season. He will undergo surgery in short time, and let's take a look and listen to how the injury occurred in the game against the Lakers at the Garden last night.
Well, I have a feeling that Doc Rivers is watching this game, and that was painful twice for him to live through that.
And the hope is that Doc will undergo successful surgery and make it back next season. Stacey King just checked in. And Stacey King has given the Bulls a 29-21 lead. Meanwhile, Doc can study your work as a color commentator as he prepares for later life, John.
Doc is always ready.
Yes.
And one of the most well-liked players in the NBA. Witness the reaction by the opposition here to the bad news.
Steve Kerr on the floor for the first time, setting the Bulls. It's Armstrong and the deep shooting threat Kerr in the backcourt. Stacey King, Tony Kukoc now up front, along with Horace Grant. And here's Grant angling in. Horace Grant having another terrific game, coming off the career-high 31 against the Celtics in Boston on Wednesday. Horace with 10 points and also doing it off the board. 7 rebounds.
He's enjoying his 2-inch height advantage over Anthony Mason when he shoots that ball.
Anthony Bonner off the mark. Bonner, Mason, and Ewing up front. Starks and Davis in the backcourt. It's a 10-point Chicago lead. Kerr open.
Ball movement is excellent by the Bulls. And Kerr is a nice guy to have at the end of such ball movement. He's an excellent shooter.
The Knicks take a 20-second timeout. Minute 43 gone by in the second quarter. A very impressive start by the Bulls. They hit 12 of 18 in the first quarter, while the Knicks were 10 for 22, and the Bulls also had the edge off the boards.
Well, the Bulls came down with the plan of spreading the floor, and that's what they do. Ball moves around the perimeter. You'll see Kerr in the right-hand portion of the screen now. He'll be the outlet man. Knicks defense can't move quite quickly enough. That's why passing is much better than dribbling, because it's very difficult for the defenders to move their feet as quickly as the ball can move in the air.
That's the first of 4 meetings during the regular season between the Knicks and the Bulls. Last year, the Knicks took 3 out of 4 and then lost to Chicago in the Eastern Conference Final. Yes, and it counts. Patrick Ewing with the field goal, and he will go to the line. He was hit by Stacey King.
Very difficult shot execution by Ewing. He'll have more than one defender now as he goes into this move and is able to make it on a beautiful move, but it does seem that every Knicks shot now is under great stress. They have to duplicate that kind of defense at the Bulls' end of the court.
The Bulls 33 and the Knicks 23. Kukoc is being guarded by Bonner. Nice look. King rejected by Ewing. Recovered by Kerr. Shot clock at 4. Kukoc. And we get a whistle.
That tip hit the shot clock, which turns the ball over to the Knicks.
Tony Kukoc, who has not been shooting well recently, reluctant to take the shot. He had to because the 24 was running down. 2.5 gone by in the second quarter. Bulls by 10. Again, they doubled up on Ewing, and he lost it. Kukoc with Armstrong. 2-on-1. Nice exchange. Not bad when your best passer can also hammer the ball down in that fashion.
I don't think Patrick knew what hit him on that play. It was quickly done.
Ewing. Yes. Bulls 35. The Knicks 25. Kukoc let it go. He thought it was deflected. And they'll jump it up. The officials disagreeing on the call. And they'll jump it up. Number 14, or rather number 44, Corey Blunt, has checked in for the first time. Horace Grant will depart.
Good move by Mason, winning that tap from the taller man.
Corey Blunt, a rookie from the University of Cincinnati. King off that Knick turnover. Knicks very sloppy here in the first half. Armstrong. And Blunt able to get to it.
Bulls very patient in their attacking of the Knicks. Not good enough, though, on that sequence.
Bonner with the spin for Ewing. The Bulls by 8. And Ewing coming on. He now has 10. Bonner jumping on. Nearly picked it off. Kukoc for the extra pass. Bulls get it back. Shot clock at 6. Stacey King, who has not shot it well recently, only 37% for the season.
Bulls are exchanging the ball exceptionally well.
Starks with the spinning move. Kukoc with the rebound.
Kind of an out-of-control move by John Starks.
Oh, beautiful look-away pass by Tony Kukoc for Stacey King.
It's passing like that drew worldwide attention to this young man. He's done it for years.
Yes, in recent seasons, Tony Kukoc has been the most celebrated international basketball player. Pretty move by Hubert Davis. And Tony Kukoc has done it as a playmaker. Looks for the pass first and then the shot. The questions regarding Kukoc, his defensive abilities and the consistency with the shot. Kerr went off the mark. Here's Bonner on the run, eluding Kukoc. Kukoc with a hesitation dribble. He thought he was fouled. The Knicks are down by 10 as it has opened up. Mason for Bonner. Davis shoots. Armstrong wanted a break, had trouble handling the ball.
Both teams challenged pretty much with this up and down motion out here now.
Bonner with the steal. Kerr is back. Bonner eludes Kerr. Beautiful play by Anthony Bonner. And Phil Jackson wants a timeout. The Bulls 39 and the Knicks 31. And no, now let's see. Oh, I thought Phil had changed his mind. There is the timeout called by Chicago with 5:35 left, first half.
Primo was taking a lot of runs at the Rangers in the first period, in particular early in the period. So Graves is trying to make a statement here, and Primo fought back.
6 seconds into the period. Now, John, you think something like that is premeditated?
No, I think the idea of what the Rangers wanted to do was put Graves out at center ice. Scotty Bowman started Primo. He had his option who he wanted to start. So it was a big sentiment on a big centerman regarding how they play the game. And the Rangers are on the road here, Sam. And when you're on the road, you shouldn't let the other team just take the big players and let them run you around. Dallas is just making a bunch of trades because their team is getting a run every time they play Chicago. They're tired of it. They're trying to get some size. If you don't step up to the big guys in the other team, you have a problem. This developed into a fight.
Patrick Ewing in front of that man, Walt Clyde Frazier, now the color commentating partner of Mike Breen on WFAN radio for broadcast of the Knick basketball. So Patrick Ewing is by himself on top as the Knicks all-time leading scorer. Ewing this evening with 10 points. Sitting it out as Herb Williams has checked in, as has Bill Wennington, new member of the Chicago Bulls by way of St. John's. Bill Wennington played in the Italian League last year. Pete Myers is back on the floor. That's Myers. It counts. And Pete Myers continues to hurt the Knicks. He has 12 points. He was fouled by Herb Williams.
fine move here in response to that deflection by Herb Williams. Pete Myers at 6'6". Very difficult man out of the backcourt. He's going to go above most of the defenders, and he is killing the Knicks here in the first half.
The Bulls now lead by 11. Greg Anthony now in the backcourt along with John Starks. Here's Starks. Got to go glass. Starks on the follow. And Starks able to rescue. Oakley, Williams, and Bonner up front. Bonner has come on and played well, very active. Couple of steals by Anthony Bonner.
Pippen battling Herb Williams, and he succeeded in taking Williams away as a target.
Starks, yes. Nice floating move by John Starks. The Bulls lead by 9. Steve Kerr, Pete Myers at the guards. Horace Grant is back. Bill Wennington, Scottie Pippen also up front. Kerr guarded by Anthony. Pippen got the step, and he was fouled by Bonner. Non-shooting foul, and Pippen will do Detroit games earlier this season with tendonitis in his right ankle. Myers, oh, he feels it.
Bonner getting good moments here in the first half, now assigned to Pippen.
John, that was Myers' first miss. He had hit his first 6 from the field. Bonner off the fake, blocked by Pippen.
What a play by Pippen.
Pippen tried to lead the break, lost it.
What a bad play by Pippen.
And Bonner stepped out. Stepped on the baseline as he tried to set up. Here's Tony Campbell replacing Anthony Bonner.
Turnovers have hurt both teams, but the home court Bulls have been executing better offensively.
This is a Chicago team that has surprised with a record of 11-8. They have won 3 in a row. They have won 7 of the last 8. They come off a win in Boston on Wednesday night. Shot clock at 2, down to 1, and it's a 24-second violation.
It's amazing what the Bulls are accomplishing without a high-scoring center. Of course, they've done that in their championship years, as Bill Cartwright certainly hasn't been high-scoring. But they're getting along with NBA mediocrity in the middle these days and doing quite well.
NBA mediocrity, huh?
The truth hurts, Marv, I know.
Oakley hustling with Kerr. And the ball is deflected out. It'll be the Knicks maintaining possession. Certainly with a fellow by the name of Michael Jordan, you can get away with deficiencies at certain positions. Campbell and Wennington with the rebound. Myers passed on the shot and surprised Grant.
You know, it's amazing with all the turnovers the Bulls are having, their up-tempo style of play and their passing, their freewheeling passing is rescuing them from these infractions that they have continued to commit.
You know, John, getting back to the subject of doing it at the center position, and we will get back to that when we return, because a timeout have won a championship.
Amazing.
Well, there's one of them. All right. Bill Cartwright, a member of the New York Knicks in the late 70s.
I can only come up with Robert Parrish. Oh.
And James Edwards, as we saw at the end of the bench of the LA Lakers, and Moses Malone. Edwards, a member of the Detroit Pistons championship teams. Patrick Ewing was fouled. Bill Wennington called for the foul. I was making the point regarding centers, as you made reference to the Bulls having a mediocre lineup at the center position. Obviously, you don't have to have the premier center to win an NBA championship. Patrick Ewing has not won one. The same goes for Hakeem Olajuwon. David Robinson, most important, the surrounding cast members, or if you have a fellow by the name of Jordan in the lineup, but other contending teams. The Phoenix Suns do not have a premier center.
You know, Marv, this is not a debatable point.
Oh, I'm not looking for a debate, but that's true. We cannot even argue this.
Good stuff. Very nice.
2:25 remaining first half. You're weakening. Weddington not able to hit. The Bulls 42 and the Knicks 35. First of 4 meetings this regular season between the Knicks and the Bulls. Ewing, yes. 14 for Ewing. He's the high man for the Knicks. Pete Myers, the unlikely high scorer for the Chicago Bulls.
Knicks are fortunate to be where they are, actually. They're living by the jump shot. The problem is it's all Patrick Ewing's jump shooting.
Nice ball movement. Pippen for 3. Scottie Pippen hits the three-pointer. The Bulls 45, the Knicks 37.
Knicks' problems in the past have revolved to a great degree around lack of offensive contributions from the forward position. This is happening tonight so far.
Starks. Strong move by John Starks. He has 7.
Knicks forwards, Tony Campbell and Charles Oakley, have not been heard from.
So the Knicks now trail by 6. The Bulls led by as many as 12. We come up on 1 minute left in the first half. Armstrong.
Armstrong has been kept in check well by the Knicks, and Greg Anthony in particular, who's matched with him.
Only 2 out of 6 from the field. Patrick Ewing with a good move. Did not get the hop. Pippen.
Pippen makes everyone around him on defense look slow.
He is a unique talent. The Bulls funnel so much of the point duties through Scottie Pippen, and as we saw earlier when Tony Kukoc came on, he took over in that role.
Of course, when you look at a box score of the Chicago Bulls, you'll generally see an equal balance of rebounds and assists from Pippen to go along with his usual high scoring. And he's back in stride. He played the first 2 games of the season, then missed the next 10 with tendonitis in his right ankle. When he returned, the Bulls have become a 6 out of 7 winning team. There's another look at Pippen just sailing by Charles Oakley, who could only manage a swipe as Pippen went by him.
Phil Jackson took a 20-second timeout with 19.5 seconds remaining in this first half. Well, the Knicks have a couple of days off. They'll be back at Madison Square Garden on Monday night to face the Dallas Mavericks, who are now 1-20 and counting. They have lost 17 in a row. That'll be Monday night at the Garden. Knicks game night at 7. Knicks play the Nets at the New Jersey Meadowlands on Tuesday, and then we'll face the Atlanta Hawks at home on Thursday. Pippen will throw in. 19 and 5/10 seconds remaining. First half. Bulls 47, Knicks 39. Phil Jackson plotting out the play during that 20-second timeout. Down to 10 seconds. Kukoc for 3. Well, a pretty good play. Tony Kukoc from downtown. Bulls by 11. Knicks look to get right back. Here's Ewing on the fake. Won't count. Shuffled his feet.
Pat Riley doesn't accept that. He's furious.
1 and 5/10 seconds remaining in the half. Traveling violation on Ewing. Kukoc will try to peg it down court. Couldn't find anyone. Goes short range, and Myers shoots from half court. Oh, he hit the rim. An impressive first half for the Chicago Bulls. They lead the New York Knicks here in Chicago, 50-39. Coming up in a moment, Mike Crispino at the high point men. Patrick Ewing leading New York with 14, and one-time Nick Pete Myers, the high man for Chicago, with 13. Now let's go to Mike Crispino.
All right, thanks very much, Marv. An encouraging start for the Celtics early in the season. They are now drifting back to mediocrity. When the night began, they were just 11-11, playing the Utah Jazz tonight, who had won 4 of their last 5 against the Celtics. Chris Ford and company having trouble at Boston Garden. Now, this is something different. Ford's team just 6-5 at home this year. One of the reasons, they're running hot and cold offensively. Xavier McDaniel running hot tonight. Second quarter, X-Man, a little backdoor action with Sherman Douglas slammed it down. Celtics had a brief lead in the second quarter. They are now playing the third quarter, Utah leading 68-67. Doc Rivers is lost for the season after an MRI exam determined serious damage to his left knee after a fall in last night's win over the Lakers. Rivers has a torn ligament and other cartilage damage. He'll undergo surgery in a couple of weeks and then begin his rehabilitation. When reached by phone today, the veteran's thoughts were about team first.
It just hurt. I hurt a whole bunch because it's something taken away from you overnight, you know, in 1 second. And you know, you're feeling great, you're feeling healthy, you're playing okay, and all of a sudden, one little freak thing, something that you couldn't avoid, something that could happen to anyone, happens. And, you know, you just try to keep things in perspective as much as possible.
We'll hear more from Doc Rivers tonight on the MSG Sports Desk following the Knicks. All of Ricky Henderson to New York talk can now cease and desist. He has taken the most money. Did you think he wouldn't do that? He's ready to sign with the Oakland A's, a 2-year deal worth $8.5 million. We'll have more in a moment. Sports Red Wings tonight on our MSG2 service, and Rangers goaltender Mike Richter could break a 53-year-old franchise record with a win tonight. He was hoping to post an all-time high 20-game unbeaten streak, but the Rangers are trailing 5-2. Richter is off the hook, however. Healy came in to replace him with the score now tied at 2-2. But this happened earlier. There was a lot of chippy stuff going on. Joey Kostler and Bobby Probert, former teammates together. Now at center ice, blasting away, and there were a number of skirmishes like this, and the Red Wings got the Rangers off their game throughout. They are midway in the second. Brian Leetch has both goals for the Rangers. He also had a takedown right there during this main event. 5-2, Detroit leading midway through the second period of action. We'll go back to Chicago Stadium, and we'll have more from the Knicks and the Chicago Bulls after these messages.
Introducing your Toyota.
Back in Chicago, the Bulls leading the Knicks 50-39. Marv Albert with John Andres. A look at the leading scorers summary brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. Pete Myers, a one-time New York Knick, a player who has certainly made the rounds, is the high man for Chicago. 6 of 8 from the field, 13 points in 17 minutes. And a solid all-around game for Horace Grant. 5 of 7, 10 points, along with 9 rebounds. Patrick Ewing with 6 for 10, 14 points in his 21 minutes. 8 for Campbell, 7 for Starks. John, you look at the Bulls, and this is still a formidable, well-coached, fundamentally sound ball club. And you look at what they've done recently with a record of 11-8. They won the last 3, and a very strong performance in the first half.
Well, also, Marv, when you're shooting the ball as well as they are, and they're just a shade under 60% for the first half, it covers up for a lot of problems that you might have or inadequacies at the center position, as we were talking about. And the Knicks usually allow a league-leading best 43% from the field by their opponents this season. And they're way, way above that now. Their opponents are really shooting the ball so well. So the Knicks' challenge is their defense.
I want to look at the first half highlights, which are brought to you by Minolta, makers of the new Freedom 105EX, only from the mind of Minolta.
Horace Grant has played excellent basketball for the Bulls this year. He comes off his season high the other night, and he just took the body of Charles Oakley and turned it against Charles, really. Charles got so close to him, and Grant just leaned on him and powered his way to the basket. The big surprise is the 8-point-a-game scoring of Pete Myers, who's come out and really killed the Knicks in the first half. That's his season average, but no, he comes out with 6 out of 8 from the field.
including this slam dunk for his 13 points. As usual for the Knicks, their main man, their only man in double figures, Patrick Ewing. Tony Kukoc trying to force that pass. The deflection goes into the hands of Hubert Davis, who heads for the center of the court. Bonner spinning around, drawing the attention. Patrick Ewing with the slam dunk. The Bulls on the move again. Bill Cartwright looking for a target. Grant moving inside. Ewing slapping that ball away, igniting a Knicks fast break. Greg Anthony heading to the middle of the court. John Starks handing it off to Tony Campbell. Nicely done by the Knicks on one of their successful fast breaks.
So the Knicks with only 18 points in the second quarter, and at the half they're down by 11. And we're moments away from the start of the third quarter in Chicago. The Bulls with a 50-39 lead on the Knicks, and this their first of 4 regular season meetings. In the first half, Chicago Bulls shot 59%, 22 for 37, led by Pete Myers. The Knicks at 18 of 43 for 42%. Bulls with the edge off the boards, 9 for Grant. John Starks, the leading rebounder, with 3, which is an indication of how they fared off the boards. Bulls with 16 assists to the Knicks 11.
Bulls shooting the ball so well are piling up the assists. The backcourt scoring, led by the surprising Pete Myers, is dominant.
And this Chicago club that has done well has been doing it without several Bulls who are sidelined. As John Paxson out with tendonitis in the knee. He'll return in a couple of weeks. Scott Williams out with a knee problem, maybe back first week in January. Will Perdue with a broken ring finger on his right hand. He'll be back also, we're told by Phil Jackson, in early January. You mentioned Scottie Pippen sat out 10 games because of tendonitis in his ankle. But this club will be helped by the return of Williams and Paxson and Perdue.
Knicks have to make some noise on the boards, Marv. They were out-rebounded severely. In fact, the starting lineup of the Knicks got a total of 11 rebounds in the first half, with Starks, as we mentioned, the leader with 3.
Shot clock at 2. Down to 1 as Grant hits. And this, the biggest lead of the night for the Bulls. A 13-point margin. Greg Anthony opening in the backcourt with John Starks, Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, Tony Campbell up front. Campbell lost it. Chopped away by Pippen. Armstrong comes back to Armstrong. Good play by a diving Starks. Grant knocked it away, but Oakley recovered. Starks. The Bulls 52. The Knicks 41.
Part of the outstanding qualities that Pippen brings to every game is his ability to play defense and steal basketballs. He comes off a game in which he had 5 against the Celtics in their last game. He's bothered the Knicks severely here.
Off the turnover on the fast break, Anthony was fouled. Pete Myers trying to do too much, was bottled up. Greg Anthony will go to the line. Greg Anthony back in the starting lineup. He was a starter for a good portion last season, but with Doc Rivers now sidelined by the knee injury the rest of the season, at least for the moment, it is Greg Anthony as the starting point guard. And that is his first point of the game. 18 minutes in the first half, took only 1 shot, did not hit it, had 3 assists.
Starting Knicks backcourt took 10, with Starks taking 9 of them.
And the indication that one of the Knicks stepped in too soon. And now they say a double lane violation. A Bull and a Knicks stepping in. So the foul shot nullified, and it will be a jump ball. Ewing and Grant.
Anthony had 3 assists in the first half, and a successful drive for Greg Anthony as that lane opened up. That's the kind of aggressiveness Greg has to display more and more of.
Chicago by 8. Myers faced the double team, and he lost it.
Now Charles Oakley has really been out of the offense again tonight. Only took 2 shots in the first half, making 1, 2 rebounds. Charles has got to turn it up now, as he has often done in the second half.
He's coming off the season high 21 against the Lakers last night. Campbell, yes. And the Knicks, in the midst of a run, have come within 6. A moment ago, they were down by 13. Starks off the steal. 3-on-1. Oakley. Beautifully done. And the Knicks have cut it to a 4-point lead. 9-2 run by the Knicks. And the Bulls take a timeout.
Shot, but Leach with a tremendous effort to make the play. The power play was over, but the Rangers have cut it to 5-3.
That was a play where you said that someone had lost the glove. It was Brian Leach, the top hand. The glove was gone from there, and he continues to battle. There he loses the glove and doesn't quit. He just keeps going, finds Zuboff, and this shot may have been redirected off the defenseman in front. I think it may have gone off the skate blade of Terry Karkner and in behind Cheveldae, and it's a 2-goal deficit now as Detroit has the lead 5-3. Zuboff moved in, and Brian Leach battled all the way in along the boards, losing a glove in doing so. Fed the puck accurately to Zuboff, who just put the puck on goal. And it's in.
Sergei Zubov certainly making the most of his
good times with friends. Use good sense and drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. Knicks on a roll now. Clear out on the left side. Greg Anthony takes B.J. Armstrong for a ride. What a good feeling that must have given Greg Anthony, sailing around B.J.
9.5 remaining in this third quarter, and the Knicks lead by 4. So the Knicks able to take advantage. I should say the Knicks trail by 4. Knicks able to take advantage of the Bulls turnovers here in the third. That's a 3-pointer by Pippen.
What a crazy play, a deflection. Good defensive deflection by Anthony right into the hands of Pippen.
Starks drew the foul. It's charged to Grant. That is his first. John Starks to the line for the first time tonight.
Well, we see Horace Grant, Marv, a man who's talking big time about leaving this franchise at the end of this year as an unrestricted free agent. He has played his career here in the glow of Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. He feels it's his time for big-time recognition, and he's playing big time.
Yes, he has felt underappreciated over the years. He'll be an unrestricted free agent after this season. Well, John Starks misfiring at the line. Oakley battling with Cartwright, looking for position. And the holding foul on Oakley, that's his second.
Charles Oakley from behind Cartwright, pushing him pretty hard on this play.
Ewing tried to force Cartwright out. Grant. Bulls by 7. 8:40 remaining in the third quarter.
Good play by Pippen. He just moved his feet and denied Campbell.
And Ewing hits on the fadeaway to bring the Knicks within 5. 16 for Ewing.
You don't mind Cartwright catching the ball out high like that. He's not going to hurt you offensively.
It counts and the foul. But a beautiful pass thrown by Cartwright to set up Myers.
And that's why Cartwright continues to be a value. He recognizes the pressure he's under and delivers a perfectly thrown bounce pass.
The foul committed by Oakley. He has 3. Myers throwing a brick. The Bulls lead by 7. Pete Myers has 15 points. Offensive foul on Ewing. He was looking for help and he could not find it.
He was trying to get Anthony because Anthony's man had stayed with Ewing. He's very frustrated in that he cannot get the ball through 3 defenders, and in so doing he jarred Myers.
Shot clock at 5. They double up on Pippen. It's down to 2. And Mike Mathis says last touch by Greg Anthony. Substitution, Steve Kerr off the bench, replacing Pete Myers, who hears it from the crowd. So Myers leaves with 15.
Anthony's done an excellent job on this man. B.J. Armstrong was the man we highlighted at the Open as the main offensive threat for this team. He's been quiet.
He's hit only 2 of 7. Kerr, and a loose ball foul charged to Cartwright, his second. A push out on Ewing.
Cartwright continues to manufacture the physical play against Patrick Ewing. He pushes Patrick around a lot. Ewing trying to get position is bumped. The official under the basket saw that more clearly than we did.
Now Cartwright attempting to front Ewing, then Ewing out to set a pick. Campbell. Tony Campbell first hesitated, looked like he had lost the handle momentarily. Tony Campbell's had a solid game. That's 12 points for Tony, and the Knicks are down by 5. Campbell going for the steal, knocks it out.
Yes, Tony with more playing time has become very important in this game, not only on the offensive end, which he just showed, but also on defense, which he also showed us seconds ago. He's matched up against Pippen, the real #1 threat of the Bulls.
Armstrong and Kerr now in the backcourt. Pippen with Cartwright and Grant up front. Steve Kerr. And the rebound swept by Patrick Ewing. Campbell from deep. Yes. Tony Campbell now really hurting the Bulls. Getting a little bit too much room from Scottie Pippen.
That's sometimes a defensive man's way of psyching a guy out. Like, I know you can't hit that. I'm going to let you do it.
Kerr getting the room.
That's one guy that can do it. In 1990, he was the NBA's best three-point shooter.
And Mike Mathis indicating the turnover. So Chicago gets it back. Bulls by 5. Just under 6 minutes remaining in the third. Ewing jumping out on Pippen on the switch. Hustles back to his man. Pippen for 3. And Anthony gets to it. Oakley fouled. He was very fortunate because that was not pretty.
Well, Charles getting the ball when he has to dribble is low percentage basketball for Charles. He's not comfortable doing that, but it did work out well for the Knicks as Anthony recognized Oakley in good position as he moved down court.
Foul committed by Pippen, his first non-shooting affair. Ran over to help. Nice pass from Ewing. Well, Patrick Ewing with a beautiful pass on the double team. As the coaches like to say, he recognized the double team and was able to slip it back the other way, and Oakley hit to bring the Knicks within 3. Chicago is led by as many as 13 here in the third quarter. That's Kerr for 3. Steve Kerr from downtown. He has 7 points. Deadly from 3-point range. Campbell getting excellent position. And a foul is called. It's an offensive foul on Campbell. Well, the Bulls off that last 3-pointer by Kerr, now 4 out of 6 from downtown. Armstrong open. Starks putting the dribble between the legs, made contact, called for the foul. The basket won't count. Again, an offensive foul against the Knicks, and Pat Riley is very upset.
John Starks rocked Steve Kerr as he went to the hoop. That's why the foul was called. Anthony on the pass-off. Now we'll see Starks on that crossover dribble. Looked like there was a bit of an acting response by Kerr, but there was some contact.
They double up on Pippen. Ball knocked away. Last touch by the Knicks with 8 on the 24. 4:14 left in the third quarter. The Bulls 62 and the Knicks 56.
Get up, get back.
Foul on Campbell. That is his third. For the Knicks, their third team foul.
Cartwright serving the purpose of high post picks for the cutting Bulls, who continue to work inside and then outside for their good perimeter shooting. But what signifies their offense this year is their fine passing.
Bill Cartwright. That is only his second field goal. That's one out of the early 80s.
Boy, a left-handed hook shot, no less, from Bill.
And Blaine Reichelt now in a discussion off that whistle, talking with Mike Mathis. Apparently calling a double foul on Pippen and Campbell. One of those unusual double foul calls. Tony Campbell did not agree with the call. Discussing with Blaine Reichelt, but a timeout has been taken. We'll take a break with 3-4.
Phil's manner of expression many times said by Phil. He'll say a lot of words that reflect reading and great depth. Sometimes I'm sure the players don't know where he's going. I know one time Harvey was showing the team a game tape all about basketball, and all of a sudden they were looking at a stampede of buffaloes.
Yes.
Back to the game then.
He just tries to get their attention. Oakley was trying to draw the foul. Pat Riley very upset with a series of calls here in the third quarter. 3:20 to go. The Knicks are down 64-56. Anthony Mason has checked in. Off the steal, Anthony has a 2-on-1. Anthony all the way. Very nicely done by Greg Anthony, able to finish off 2 drives here in the third quarter.
Well, what was particularly impressive, it was Scottie Pippen in front of him, one of the NBA's best defenders.
Now the Knicks getting ready to send on Hubert Davis. Foul on Anthony. That is the first on Anthony. Davis replacing Starks. It is a non-shooting foul. Chicago with Pippen, Cartwright, and Grant up front. Armstrong and Kerr in the backcourt. Steve Kerr on a pull-up. Very rarely see Steve Kerr trying to create shots for himself.
Yes, the ball usually comes to him after a lot of motion.
Patrick Ewing with a beautiful jump hook. And the Knicks are now within 4 after trailing by as many as 13. 18 for Ewing. Knicks switching well. Bulls having trouble getting a shot off. Down to 5 on the 24, but Pippen took advantage. Scottie Pippen with the step went to the left hand.
Well, in the motion on the court, Mason got tripped up and no one picked up Pippen, who went for the basket.
Ewing lost it on the double team. Armstrong chased by Oakley. Well, Charles Oakley pulled up. And Armstrong was able to beat him for an 8-point lead.
Great example of a good shooter reacting to the defense, protecting the basketball as Armstrong did.
Pippen going for the steal is called for the foul. And the Bulls gambling defensively, and it is paying off here during this stretch.
Knicks putting on a run, and it's being met by the quality of the Bulls rising a bit.
Well, they say Pippen knocked it out of bounds, so 9 remaining on the shot clock. And a foul is called. It's a 2-shot foul because it came before the ball was inbounded. Foul committed by Cartwright, his 3rd.
Greg Anthony trying to set a pick on Bill Cartwright, which didn't last too long. That's a very ambitious attempt by Greg to take on the 7-foot Cartwright.
Anthony, a 76% free throw shooter. And Oakley able to chase it down. Mason with that hesitation dribble gets it to Davis. That was a 3-point attempt that carried way off.
Ewing wants an explanation as to why he went flying with no foul called in his favor. Patrick working his way into the basket. Cartwright just pushing him off the court. That's unbelievable.
The Bulls lead by 7. 1 minute left, 3rd quarter. Armstrong, it counts, and the foul, but Armstrong is hurt. Landed on his knee. B.J. Armstrong in severe pain.
I can only think, Marv, of Doc Rivers watching this right now.
A timeout immediately called by the Bulls.
And B.J. Armstrong coming over before the game, Marv, expressing his interest and thoughts for Doc Rivers and his best wishes expressed, I know, to you for Doc.
That's the Bulls trainer, Chip Schaefer, checking out B.J. Armstrong. And B.J. able to walk it off.
That's an amazing recovery considering the pain he indicated. B.J. driving the baseline, putting everything he could into that shot, driven to the ground by the combination of Oakley and Anthony.
Phil Jackson complaining he was screaming at the official that it should have been a flagrant foul. But that looked like a clean attempt to go for the block on the part of Charles Oakley, and I really think that was an inadvertent collision. And fortunately, B.J. Armstrong is all right. He landed flush on the knee, but he's okay.
Fortunately, obviously, there was no twist of his knee or ankle on that play. What contact.
The Bulls with a 70-61 lead on the Knicks. Final minute of the 3rd quarter. The Knicks with a record of 15-4. They've won 5 in a row, 8 of the last 10. They come in 4.5 over Orlando, while Chicago with 7 wins the last 8 games. A record of 11-8.
Marv, you know, remarkably, as we see BJ ready to go, we'll take a look right now and point out that the MSC college basketball schedule continues tomorrow at 1:30 with St. John's and Fordham and Manhattan against Hofstra. St. John's looking for revenge from last year's meeting when Fordham got him.
And B.J. Armstrong will hang in. Had he left the game, he would have been through for the night. Bulls would have had to have gone with a substitute free throw shooter selected by the Knicks, but Armstrong will take the free throw. Tony Kukoc has returned. Played only 7 minutes in the first half, but exciting minutes for Kukoc with some nifty passing.
Meanwhile, the Knicks have put on a good run, and all of a sudden they're down 10 once again as the Bulls have come right back.
7-1 run by Chicago. Foul called on the Bulls. Again, it is Cartwright. That's 4 on Bill. Patrick Ewing to the foul line. The Bulls now over the limit. Ewing is 2 of 3 from the line. He has 18 points in all. 42 seconds remaining, third quarter.
You know, Marv, Cartwright has played under 20 minutes in each of the last 2 games and has had games where he'd play a token few opening minutes and then not play that much after that. But tonight, Phil Jackson is going back to the memory that has served him well with Cartwright banging on Ewing and not allowing Patrick to get into a freewheeling offensive game, and it's worked. Cartwright's continued to bother Patrick.
Ewing with the steal. Armstrong trying to force that pass. 20 seconds left. Third quarter. Pat Riley saying hold for a final shot. Knicks are trailing by 8 points. 10 seconds to go.
It's working very hard at getting it into Ewing. Finally do.
We check the clock. Trying to go Glass. And time runs out. After 3 at Chicago Stadium. The Bulls 71 and the Knicks 63.
Football. Real football. On real grass.
Lambeau Field in snow.
No,
too obvious. What about the fearsome?
Hiding in that brown paper bag the other day?
Not me.
We asked Horace, did his teammates give him a difficult time about it?
No, actually, the guys like it. You know, a lot of people are making a big deal out of nothing. You know, it's one of those things that just happened, and I had my clothes. I mean, I kept my clothes on, and you know, it was done out of fun, really. But you know, a lot of other people took it, you know, so personal and things like that. I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, no kids aren't allowed to see those type of magazine in the first place. If parents let their kids see it, you know, what kind of parents are they?
I'm more distracted by the fact he's wearing 2 pair of glasses, Marv.
And Hubert Davis with a terrific bank shot, and he drew the foul as this fourth quarter gets underway. Foul committed by Stacey King, who just checked in, and the Knicks are down by 6. Make it 5. 3-point play by Davis. The Bulls 71 and the Knicks 66. Some pressure shown by the Knicks. Myers pops it down to Grant. Kerr and Myers in the backcourt. King, Grant, and Kukoc up front.
And commenting on Horace's remarks, Marv, I think he's got some confused values.
Well, aren't we making a judgment here, John?
Yes, we are.
All right, Starks And he cuts it down to 3. The Bulls 71 and the Knicks 68. Now, John, I'm not taking a stand, but the guy's entitled to do what he wants, right or wrong.
Yes, he is.
And Horace Grant gets inside. 14 for Grant. The Bulls 73 and the Knicks 68. What's wrong with posing for Basketball Digest?
Well, I think his reference to Basketball Digest, right, for the youngsters is a little disconcerting.
Oakley, Charles Oakley hits from deep, and the Bulls lead by 3.
Interesting things now with Charles Oakley responding to Grant's offensive flurry.
Ewing with the steal. Oh, look out. Slippery spot on the floor. Starks recovers and calls for time. Heads up play again by John Starks. And the ball boys come out to take care of the wet spot.
John Starks is an NBA All-Star when it comes to calling timeouts in pressure situations. He's done it over and over again. John losing his footing on this play after Patrick Ewing had done the same thing, making a solid response. Patrick down, and then John going into the same area, also slipping. Fortunately, the big story here is that nobody got hurt. I mean, that could really be a very dangerous situation. Well, the Knicks forcing 20 turnovers on a team that normally handles the ball very well, turning it into 24 points in their favor. The Bulls not in any way taking advantage of the Knicks turnover situation. And that's what's doing it for the Knicks. They're capitalizing and turning those mishaps into points for them.
Bulls staying the same following that 20-second timeout. They led by as many as 13. It is now a 3-point lead, and a foul is called. It's on Myers.
Myers' aggressiveness in pushing Ewing, his old teammate, as he used to do in practice.
Which was not necessarily appreciated, which helped lead to his departure. We touched on it earlier, but several Knicks players not appreciating the tactics of Pete Myers during some heated practice sessions. Nice move. Anthony Mason brings the Knicks within 1.
Marv, what's happening now is the best of the Knicks' personality is coming forth.
Foul on Mason. Anthony Mason giving away several inches on the 6'10" Tony Kukoc. Anthony Bonner will check in. Patrick Ewing to get a rest. Ewing leads with 20 points. 9-2 run by the Knicks. It has been a game of spurts. The Bulls now clinging to a 1-point lead off the weave. Kerr was stopped by Starks.
Knicks defense, Marv, is noticeably more intense now.
Stacey King. A very strong move with Stacey King angling to his right, shooting with the left hand and banking it
Very
home.
tough move.
Bulls 75 and the Knicks 72. Quick release and a force, but he hits. Hubert Davis brings the Knicks within 1.
Positive signs for the Knicks now with a shot like that.
9 points for Davis. Myers guarded by Davis. Myers got the step. Rebound Oakley. And Mason is hurt. Mason was down. He could not get up.
And Charles Oakley, in trying to avoid Mason, committed the infraction with the ball. A very frustrating moment for the Knicks and Charles Oakley. Knicks defense tightening up now. Oakley getting that ball. Mason had gone down. Charles trying to spring himself free, moves that right foot and commits the violation.
The Knicks bench checking on Anthony Mason, who said he's okay. Here's King, rebounded by Oakley. Charles Oakley doing it now off the board. 7 rebounds for Oakley. 75-74. Bulls with the lead. safely. Yes. And for the first time, the Knicks have taken the lead. It's the Knicks 76, the Bulls 75.
And isn't it sweet for Charles Oakley to give the Knicks the lead?
Foul is called. Patrick Ewing getting set to return. Anthony Bonner called for the foul. Charles Oakley, the one-time Chicago Bull, has not had that many strong games here in Chicago, but he's come on in the second half. Oakley sitting down with Ewing checking in.
Charles has become a big second-half player these days.
Davis deflecting it out. Bulls led 27-21 after one. They led by 11 at the half, as many as 13 in the third quarter. 71-63 after three, and the Knicks have taken the lead by one. Well, Scottie Pippen gives Chicago a one-point edge. Pippen has 14.
Well, the second half, Marv, it's a 37-27 Knicks lead, so they're up 10 so far in the second half.
Davis, yes. And you can tell that Hubert is feeling the stroke.
Well, Marv, those are very big-time shots because he's falling back. He feels the defense, and he's still making them.
11 for Davis. They double up on Pippen. Nice pass from Kukoc. Stacey King providing the Bulls with a one-point advantage. 5 minutes gone by in the fourth. And it is a 3-second violation. Bulls take a timeout. 6:54 to go in the fourth.
Include round-trip airfare, deluxe hotel accommodations, game tickets, a party hosted by Knicks VIPs, and more. To receive your free brochure, call 212-268-8844. Knicks' tough defense is going to bring Pat Riley into the act now, Marv, on this replay. On that deflection, Pat Riley bearing the brunt of that basketball, showing that he is different from many people. He took that one pretty cool.
6:54 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Bulls 79, the Knicks 78. The Knicks 17 for 21, 81% shooting in the second half. The Bulls at 53%. But it has brought the Knicks from 13 down. Shot clock at 4. Scottie Pippen.
Mason could not have played him better. What a shooter.
16 for Pippen. And the Bulls by 3. Starks for 3. Kukoc on the box out. Kukoc pushing it down. Armstrong for 3. The Knicks call the time.
Play 3 of them. 1 by Bukaboom to pinch and get the puck. 2 moving the puck across to Nemchinov, who took an instant too long to gather.
To charge, call 212-307-7171. There's the amazing shooting of B.J. Armstrong from the corner. Patrick Ewing coming right at him. B.J. staying in focus. Look at Ewing coming at Armstrong. Amazing that he made that shot so cleanly. That shot's 22 feet to the basket from that part of the court. It's 23-9 out top.
So the Bulls 5 of 7 from three-point range. B.J. Armstrong a 45% three-point shooter, showing signs here down the stretch after the slow start. He's had an excellent season, averaging just under 19 per game. Well, this sellout crowd here at Chicago Stadium certainly into it. The Bulls now by 6, 84-78. Just under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth. Chicago led by as many as 13. The Knicks with a rally off the hot shooting, and they briefly had a 1-point lead. Shot clock at 5. It's down to 3. Ewing way off. But last touch by Kukoc, and we have a whistle and apparently a foul. It's on Oakley for throwing an elbow.
Take a look at it now under the basket. Charles dishing out that left elbow. And it went to Kukoc.
And apparently a technical foul was called on Oakley.
So not only do the Knicks get a bad shot at the basket, as Starks and Ewing could not work out a passing of the basketball, but then the technical on top of it.
Armstrong hits the tee. The Bulls lead by 7. Well, it will be Knick ball because it was deflected out by the Bulls. Mike Mathis over to the scorer's table. They're trying to clear this up. You know, just a moment ago, John, during the timeout, Phil Jackson came over to the public address area and screaming in the direction of the people who run the public address here, said the system is so loud I cannot talk to my team during the timeouts.
Now, you've done a million Chicago Bulls games here over the last few years, and it's certainly as loud as it's always been. I mean, it doesn't seem to be that exceptionally loud, does it?
Hard to tell, I think, with the headsets. I don't think we can measure it. It is New York ball. The ball was deflected out by Kukoc. The technical foul called on Oakley off that flying elbow. So the Knicks do maintain possession, but they're down now by 7 with 5.5 remaining in the fourth. Starks changed his mind. Mason will it count? He was fouled. Anthony Mason was being held, did get the shot off. It's on Pippen. And apparently the foul was called before the shot attempt. Non-shooting foul.
Stacey King is doing a big job on Patrick Ewing, making Patrick accept that ball out high so that he has to face the basket. Patrick's strength is with his back to the basket going into his move.
Starks for 3. Yes. John Starks from three-point land to bring the Knicks within 4. And now this a matchup down the stretch of two of the top defensive teams in the league. And that holds true for the Bulls even without the presence of Michael Jordan. Holding foul away from the ball. It's on Starks. For Starks, his 4th.
The Bulls are enjoying their status this year as a team that people think cannot go anywhere. It's taken a lot of pressure on them as they try to get their 4th straight championship.
Good defense by the Knicks, not allowing the inbound pass, and Pippen was forced to call for the 22nd timeout. 5 minutes remaining in the fourth. Bulls lead 85-81. On the subject of the good Knick defensive play during the course of this 5-game win streak, the Knicks have allowed just under 84 points per game, and the opposition has managed to shoot only 39%.
That is the Knicks' way of life these days, and it has rescued them from many situations where they don't shoot the ball well. That's their commitment, led by this man. Tonight they have really turned it up in the second half.
Armstrong and Kerr at the guards. Pippen, King, Grant up front. They have the full 24 to play with. Pippen, Oakley with the rebound. And Riley is staying with Hubert Davis, who has had the touch. Davis and Starks with Mason, Oakley, and Ewing. The lead pass broken up. Armstrong. And the foul against the Bulls.
That looked like Grant, and he's unhappy. He was leaning over Oakley.
Horace Grant charged with his second. And the 4th team foul on Chicago.
Grant coming in on the offensive boards where he's so effective. Knicks have been trying desperately to go into their pick and rolls, Marv, and the Bulls are playing them so well, pushing them out far, not allowing it.
Starks. Oh, what a move by John Starks. A hard driving maneuver by Starks, and the Bulls lead 85-83. The Knicks staying with Hubert Davis at the point guard position. Just under 4 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. Shot clock at 3. Armstrong. Grant deflects it. And it will be Nick Ball.
Yes, Marv, you've been getting the opportunity now to bring the ball up court. Continued confidence by Pat Riley and Hubert in that role.
And Ewing has it knocked away. Well, Pat deciding with Davis having the stroke, rather than go with Greg Anthony down the stretch, Hubert Davis at point guard with John Starks as the shooting guard, although they are interchangeable. Oakley had it knocked away. And the Knicks maintain possession. They have only 3 on the 24.
Well, if you're the Bulls, you want Charles Oakley in a dribbling situation. He is not proficient in that area.
3 on the shot clock. Starks for 3. Rebound Grant. We're approaching 3 minutes to go. In the 4th quarter, the Bulls 85, the Knicks 83. In this first of 4 meetings during the regular season. Shot clock at 3. 2. Pippen. Starks gets to it.
Mason's doing a magnificent job on Pippen, putting him under great pressure.
Starks sets up against Armstrong. Davis played by Kerr. Ewing rejected. Grant came over the top. Kerr had it knocked away. The recovery by Ewing, and the Knicks get it back. 2.5 remaining. 4th quarter. The Knicks with the ball, down by 2, and they call for time. Under 500 for the moment. 6 full games behind the Knicks. The Knicks come into tonight 4.5 in front of Orlando. Record of 15-4, 5 straight wins. Chicago at 11-8. They've won 3 in a row. They come off a victory in Boston on Wednesday.
Bulls coming in here playing good basketball. Ironically, their winning streak would have been really impressive had they lost to Philadelphia 4 games ago. Defensive Anthony Mason has been tremendous on Scottie Pippen, letting him receive the ball, but he's right on him, and he has the feet. Look how quickly Mason's feet move and respond to the very quick feet of Pippen. The Knicks putting forth a tremendous effort here in the 2nd half. Boy, are they a different team.
Hot shooting, strong defense by both teams. In particular in the final minutes. Starks for 3. And a loose ball foul called on the net. Oh, Oakley bumped with Pippen. They had some words. Charles Oakley glaring at Scottie Pippen. Now they're laughing about it. But the personal foul was called on Mason, his 2nd. It looked like they were going to extend that a bit, but they've actually had a good relationship over the years, going back to Oakley's days here with Chicago come up on 2 minutes remaining in the fourth. The Bulls lead 85-83. Pippen checking the clock. He's being hounded by Mason. 5 on the 24. Here's Pippen getting inside. The Bulls 87. The Knicks 83 with a minute 50 remaining in the fourth.
Pippen's quickness was too much.
Gilbert Davis handling the ball against Steve Kerr. Ewing comes up short. Armstrong for 3.
How's that for confidence? In many ways, that's a shot he shouldn't have taken.
But he took it. He hit. The Bulls lead by 7.
Knicks fans, get your copy of the all-new 1994 official New York Knicks yearbook today. This 120-page yearbook is a true collector's item with articles by New York's top sports writers, rare never-before-published photos, even a special 30-page section commemorating the first quarter-century of Knicks basketball at Madison Square Garden. Just send $10 check or money order to Knicks Yearbook, 2 Penn Plaza, 3rd floor, New York, New York, 10121, attention Debbie. That's Knicks Yearbook, 2 Penn Plaza, 3rd floor, New York, New York, 10121, attention Debbie.
Each culture is like a piece in a puzzle. When it is complete.
Airlines upcoming schedule. The Knicks return home to the Garden on Monday night. Then Tuesday they visit the Nets in New Jersey. And then back for the red-hot Atlanta Hawks on Thursday night at the Garden.
Our next Knicks telecast Monday night. Knicks game night at 7. The Knicks and the Dallas Mavericks. The Knicks and the Bulls each have 2 timeouts remaining. B.J. Armstrong hitting another 3. He has been on fire from long range.
Well, the script says you extend the clock now. You had a lead, but no, B.J. goes right to the basket with great confidence. And everyone is going to say, nice shot, B.J., way to go.
He was not shooting well early, but has come on, including 2 3-pointers. 7-point Chicago lead, a minute 25 remaining in the fourth. Knicks need quick shots. Mason bottled up and lost it. Knicks try to apply pressure, and a foul is called on Starks.
Well, that was not an example of crisp passing when the defense is at its most intense, and that's what cost the Knicks.
Number 5 committed by Starks. Armstrong to the line. He is the best free throw shooter on the Chicago roster. 91%. One of the best foul shooters in the NBA. 3 for 3 tonight. And 17 points in all. The Bulls lead by 8.
Well, the Knicks, as you just mentioned, have to get shots up quickly now. Hubert Davis can't believe the role he's in, I know, as the point guard for the Knicks.
Not the ideal situation for the Knicks, but I'm sure the thinking of Pat Riley is he was hitting the shot, and Greg Anthony is still tentative in so many instances. Foul called on Pippen. That's his 4th. A minute 1 remaining in the fourth quarter. John Starks to the foul line.
You know, Greg Anthony can take some bit of pride in the fact that B.J. did not light it up when he was on the court.
Bulls had rolled off 7 straight points prior to that free throw by Starks. Greg Anthony, the starting point guard this evening in the absence of the injured Doc Rivers. Oakley tried for the steal and is called for the foul. The Bulls 90.
Wells, he's checked by Sillinger, gave it up to Lidstrom. He clears. 2:45 to go. Lidstrom across with a puck. Knocked away by Graves.
Lost to the Bulls in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. Bulls, of course, going on to win their 3rd consecutive championship after a 57-25 regular season to lead the Central Division. The Knicks won their last regular season game here in Chicago last February. That broke a 13-game losing streak during the course of regular season here in the Windy City. They had not won since March of '87 before the win last February. But the Bulls on their way to a victory here tonight to make it 4 straight wins. And the Knicks' 5-game win streak will come to a close. Starks for 3. King with the rebound. 40 seconds remaining in the game. And the Bulls are hearing it and now receiving a standing ovation. Terrific effort by the Chicago Bulls. Davis called for the foul with 24 seconds remaining.
Well, the excitement is
Zubov, 1:20 to go.
If Trey wins this, Osgood should be a star. He's been fabulous off the bench.
13 saves for Chris Osgood since he came into the game. Primo gets it again. Primo moves in. Centering pass blocked by Leach. Healy moves it. 1 minute to go. Healy heads for the bench. Rangers net is empty. Osgood gloves it. Osgood plays it off the boards out of the zone. 5-4 Detroit. Rangers with an empty net. Amonte looking for Gartner. Missed it. Trying to bat it in out of the air. Messier. The shot by Tikkanen over the top. Messier's back pass out of the zone. No stick. Shepard a takeaway. Toward the empty net but wide.
Dubov's got to go get a stick. He shouldn't even be in the zone. Go get a stick. Standing by his own goal.
They made a save right there.
Well, it doesn't do them any good.
And Shepard scores.
11 seconds to go. Starks fed by Oakley. Bulls 96. The Knicks 86. And the foul given by Mason. So again, B.J. Armstrong will go to the line. The crowd really appreciating the play of this ball club.
Well, they and the Bulls felt the Knicks come back a couple of times in this game here in the second half as if they were going to roll by the Knicks. But each time the Bulls resurrected and not only accepted the challenge but then won by the Knicks each time. A real good game for the fans to watch.
B.J. Armstrong with a strong second half. 19 points in all. And did it from downtown with a couple of critical shots. Bulls 98, Knicks 86. And that will do it. The Chicago Bulls have defeated the New York Knicks in this first meeting of the season. The final, the Bulls 98 and the Knicks 86. So the Bulls go to 12-8. 4 straight wins, 8 of the last 9, while the Knicks see the 5-game win streak stop. They are now 15 up and 5 down. We'll be back to wrap it right after these messages. But very quiet in the fourth quarter. 8 for 17 overall for his 20 points. John Starks with 19. Tony Campbell 14. Hubert Davis with 11. Charles Oakley had 10 points and 8 rebounds. Knicks shot 51% off the good shooting second half. B.J. Armstrong with a strong finish. 20 points in all. 6 of 14 from the field. 6 of 6 from the line. 18 for Pippen. 16 for Grant. Myers at 15 and King with 10. So the Bulls with a 57% shooting performance in the second half. And B.J. Armstrong, after the slow start, came to life, hit a couple from downtown, And BJ, our NatWest Banks player of the game. 20 points, 9 assists, and BJ is alongside our John. Here's John.
Thank you, my Marv. B.J. Armstrong, it was different in the first half for you tonight than it was in the second half. What was the change in your game?
Well, I just think we're just starting to play and execute and use one another and know that we can't beat this team off the dribble, that we're going to pass the ball, hit the open man. And once we began to do that, we found some spacing on the floor and got some easy opportunities for us to score.
You were more quiet than usual in the first half. Was it Greg Anthony's defense or the fact that you just weren't on your game?
Well, I just tried to get us in the flow and get us into the offensive things because, you know, New York has the ability to take you out of your offense. And if I'm out there acting crazy and running around to get the rest of the team. So I tried to be very calm, and we had things going. You know, Horace had a great first half, and we had some guys scoring, so it wasn't needed upon.
Does they stop?
Up, and luckily for us, it went down.
BJ, there was a frightening moment at one point in the game when you went down in a heap and you looked like you were in great pain. Tell us what was going on.
Yeah, I got hit in the stomach and kind of got the breath knocked out of me. I don't know who was there, and I just lost my breath for a moment, but I was okay. And after a break, after a little rest on the bench, I was okay, fine, ready to come back.
We were thinking of your good wishes to Doc Rivers when that happened. It looked like a similar incident. We were naturally hoping that it wasn't your leg, and it was nice to see it was just a tap in the tummy from your former Chicago Bull, Charles Oakley, by the way.
Yeah, it was. Just a very unfortunate situation for Doc Rivers. Our team and our organization would like to give our condolences to him and hope that he comes back very healthy, and wish he comes back and plays very well.
BJ, how is the character of the Chicago Bulls different now without Michael?
Well, I think we're a more cohesive group. We depend on one another more than ever now because we don't have that guy who can just bail us out time and time again and come up with miraculous plays. So we just go out and play hard, and we don't try to do things we're not capable of doing, and it's allowed us to win some ball games.
Is your role a little confusing now with more responsibility, not only scoring but ball handling as well? Are you trying to do both things or concentrating mainly on your shooting?
Well, I'm trying to concentrate on getting us together and getting us organized. The scoring will come just during the nature of the game. I'm not worried about that. I just want to get everyone organized, get everyone in scoring opportunities, Scottie, Horace, myself, and everything else will just happen.
Well, you did it, and certainly in big moments with those threes from both sides of the court, BJ. Congratulations on being our player of the game.
Thank you.
Now let's go back to Marv Albert.
All right, John, and B.J. Armstrong, 16 of his 20 points in the second half, our player of the game. And our guest received the American
Yes, the kids are upstairs.
Universal Certificate that can be used to buy anything just about anywhere. Gift checks available where American Express traveler's checks are sold. And some of our guests receive a watch from Fendi, the 900 series, registered Italian design, finely crafted in Switzerland with an ETA quartz movement for precision timekeeping. The Fendi timepiece collection available at select Macy's stores. The Bulls over the Knicks here in Chicago, 98-86. Back in a moment.
Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to Bakersville? Sure. Take 23 north to M34 east to I-14 south, and you're there. Thanks. You bet.
Excuse me, can you tell me how to get to Bakersville?
Head right over those mountains.
Thanks.
There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your tri-state Jeep and Eagle dealers.
AT&T has prepared a statement we would now like to present. Introducing AT&T Max.
Stats for the night as the Bulls knock off the Knicks, 98-86. We'll be back in a moment.
Baseball. Do you think baseball's easy? You gotta know.
Getting foul shots. The Knicks only went to the line 13 times tonight. They're not doing enough to put pressure on the defense.
All right, let's take a look at our Toyota matchup of the night.
Well, Bill Cartwright and Patrick Ewing, adversaries for many years after being teammates, but Bill Cartwright tonight sparkled with one particular move when he got the ball deep in the pivot, sized up the situation, and went to the left hand beautifully. The missing hook shot these days reappeared.
And we'll be back in Chicago after these words.
The Knicks are jamming at midnight in an encore play of tonight's Knicks game. It's the Knicks Rewind at midnight, right here on MSG.
The way to go to...
When looking for reliable service on any BMW, make certain the price is guaranteed lowest. At Haberstad of Huntington, you can now get the best service on your BMW at the guaranteed lowest price on Long Island. Plus, you get the advantage of extended service hours and much more. Extraordinary service, convenient hours, lowest prices, guaranteed. At Haberstad of Huntington, we'll take good care of you and your car. We guarantee it.
Come to where everything Jeep is in plentiful supply, right here at East Hills Jeep Eagle in Roslyn. Hi, I'm Bob Nystrom for my good friends at East Hills Jeep Eagle in Roslyn. Whether you want to buy or lease the luxurious and practical Jeep Grand Cherokee or the sporty Jeep Wrangler, the car that legends are made of, you're certain to find the best deals anywhere, right here at East Hills Jeep Eagle in Roslyn. East Hills Jeep Eagle in Roslyn. Big selection, low prices, and plenty of smiling faces.
Nobody beats Long Island Diamond prices. My dad got my mom's ring here.
Long Island Diamond saves you a lot of money.
We got the diamond we wanted at the price we wanted.
Long Island Diamond is a world-class selection of all sizes, shapes, and price ranges.
The Bud Dunk of the Game is brought to you by Budweiser, fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud.
And John, the Bud Dunk of the game.
Well, Pat Ewing couldn't hold on to that ball. Tony Kukoc moves it up court quickly, gets the return pass. Tony running the court well for the Bud Dunk of the game.
Tony Kukoc played 14 minutes. Limited activity, 2 of 4, and 5 assists. That's some impressive moments on the court for Phil Jackson, whose Bulls knock off the Knicks 98-86 Monday night.